Back in the old days, Toastmasters put a much greater emphasis on humor than it does now. Despite that, tonight, Jim is going to try his hand at being funny for 5 to 7 minutes. Please help me welcome Advanced Toastmaster Gold, Jim Barber.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. My fellow Toastmasters, our newest member Toastmaster. Hi, Kelly. So glad you're here. And of course, our most welcome guest this evening. There's already been a discussion on when you turn old. And I'm here to tell you that, in my opinion, I've always had the philosophy that you're as old as you feel. You're as old as you think you are. You're not old until you think you are old. At least that's how I felt when I was 40. It was actually how I felt when I turned 65. I didn't feel any different when I was 65 than I felt when I was 64. I thought, I got this. And then I got a letter from the federal government. Now, I don't know about you, but when I get a letter from the federal government, I pay attention. And this letter said, this is to notify James Harry Barber Jr., that's me, that the United States government officially recognizes and confirms that you are now eligible for Medicare. Which I thought was actually a pretty good thing, except that I didn't read it that way. I read it as, this is to officially notify you that you are old. But it's a form letter, so I wasn't going to be concerned about that. And then, a couple of years later, you may remember this, COVID hit. Yes. Do you remember Dr. Anthony Fauci? We couldn't go more than a couple of days without him showing up on television, telling us how we had to take care of ourselves. No social distancing, no handshakes, no hugs, certainly no hugs. Can't do anything like that, and you've got to take care of yourself, and you've got to take care of those people, especially those people who are at high risk, which is a good idea. High risk means those people who have a chronic health condition, or those people who are over 65. Or as Fauci described it, the elderly. I did not care for that at all. Nobody had ever referred to me as elderly before. But I still refused to let it get me down because, it's the government still that we're talking about. They don't always know what they're doing. A few years after that, everything opened up again. We weren't having lockdown. We could actually go out and resume some semblance of a normal life. I offered to take my wife, Grace, out for dinner. She said, oh, great. I asked her what she wanted to go. She said, I'm in the mood for some international cuisine. So I said, okay. I took her to Polo Tropical, and we ordered a couple of troppy chops. Yep. We ordered a couple of troppy chops. Everything was going along so well. The lady behind the counter, she was so nice. She was attentive. She was polite. The whole experience was very pleasant until, yes, she asked me, sir, would you like your senior citizens discount? She didn't ask to card me. She didn't ask, are you eligible? She just automatically assumed that I was a senior citizen. Now, I had had a bad day. I was not really prepared for that. I was upset. I was angry. I was outraged that she would just assume that I was a senior citizen. I leaned across the counter and I told her, "How much is the discount?" But I've got everybody now. I've got the government. I've got the manager, Muffin, I think her name was, at Polo Tropical, everybody trying to tell me that I was old. And I'm not prepared to be old because, well, old, frankly, I've found that there are 3 really lousy things about getting old. The first one is that you tend to repeat yourself. You tell the same thing to the same people, the same stories, over and over and over again, and it gets kind of tiresome. The second thing, though, is worse. You find that when you're old, you forget things. You forget why you came into a room, you forget your keys, you forget all kind of things like that. But the third one is really the worst. The third one is that you get distracted. So easily distracted by things. Now, me, I've always had a laser sharp focus. I'm a programmer, I'm a writer, and once I get focused on a project, there is nothing that is going to take my attention. Wow, got some nice ribbons there. That's kind of cool. There are 3 really lousy things about getting old. The first one is that you start to repeat yourself over and over and over again to the same people. The second thing is that you forget things. Your memory starts to go. Somebody lost this piece of paper. No, and get it later. Yellow light's on. I need to bring this to a close. I don't want to leave you with the impression that everything about getting old is bad. There are some good aspects about getting old. You get a senior citizen's discount. They say that with age comes wisdom. Could be, all right. But I have found that there is one thing about getting old that actually makes it all worthwhile. And if you don't remember anything else that I tell you this evening, I want you to remember this one fundamental truth. There are 3 really lousy things about getting old, but I don't remember what they were. Madam Toastmaster.